Ashwani Goyal, who is the head of procurement with Quest Corp Limited. To give you a background, Ashwani is an SCM professional with more than 20 years of experience in both direct and indirect material sourcing for goods, projects, capex, IT marketing and OPEX categories, with expertise in managing cost and risk mitigation. Can we welcome Ashwani with big round of applause, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Most of the speakers have covered whatever I'm going to speak, but we are going to speak very specific topic of how to manage our contract and what are the risks and how they can be mitigated. Okay, this is the important clauses or importance of contract management in a procurement. Everybody is well aware of the clauses. We're just talking how it will help us. It's a legal document which can save you in the worst possible scenario. When everything is going good, nobody even referring to the document. It is only for the worst case scenarios you have to have the documentation in place. Second, it will protect both the parties. It is buyer as well as seller. As buyers, we always try to cut the pie to the maximum, but that is not the case. We should be reasonable, it should be a win-win situation for both the parties. Only then the contract will be managed well from both the parties. Documenting and agreeing on changes by both the parties should be always in written. If you are making any change, it should always be in writing. Ensure that product and services sold at an agreed price. Many people have talked that we may have X price in the agreement and we may be buying at some other price. We should be clear that whatever is documented should come into the purchase order. Assess whether product and services are of specified quality or the specifications we are buying have to be there. Ensure product and services is delivered timely. The SLAs has to be met. Otherwise, there is no point to have a contract in place. Ensures the vendor is managed cost effectively, right? This is the essentials of a procurement contract, just divided into two parts. One is a legal framework, generally which is taken care by the legal teams of the businesses, and another part is a commercial, which we all basically takes care. These are the clauses which legal generally have in the agreement, whether it's an indemnity, limitation of liability, non-disclosures, validity periods, force majeure, commercial terms, talking about pricing, SLAs, specifications, readability. We should be very clear. Legal will do their job because they are expert in their domain. But as a commercial team or a procurement team, we should be knowing what has to be covered in the annexes, generally we call it, in the last page. The risks, how to manage and mitigate. The contract should be watertight. When we say watertight, there should be nothing left to assumption. Most of the contracts, there is something missing which will always lead to clashes or disagreement or maybe a court case. A reference benchmark should be explicitly mentioned. I will just give you one example. In one of my previous companies, we have an agreement for our imported equipment. There we have mentioned exchange rate, that at this exchange rate, we will be agreeing. Let's say 2% up, 2% down, the exchange rate will remain same. But in case there is no change, it will remain same. Now, the problem is from where you will take the exchange rate. There may be 300 websites from where you can take the exchange rate. We mentioned that explicitly in the agreement. We will refer this website only to refer the exchange rate. That is how you can make your agreements watertight. Coming to the next, supplier capacity should be accessed before even we get into an agreement. You are planning to buy X quantity, but supplier has a capacity of only 0.7. Will it work? No, it will fail. We have to see the capacity of the supplier before we even get into the agreement. Missed contract expiration, how we can manage? We have seen iSkirts and there are many tools available in the market where you can get an alert maybe 30 days before the contract is getting expired. Unauthorized access to contract, this is a risk. Most of the organizations struggle, they don't know which access should be given to which person. we should be defining the metrics who should all have the access or who should not have the access to it. Ineffective approval workflow, again, it should be very clearly defined up to what value who will approve. Not clearly defined SLAs, as I said before, if SLA is not defined clearly, we will never catch whether the delivery was delayed or it was not delayed. Constant engagement with vendors, we have to be constantly engaged with our vendors. Contract management doesn't mean that you have made the contract, filed it, and after it's over. No, it is not over. Till the time it is expired or both the parties have agreed to withdraw it, it is not over. We have to manage it to the life of the agreement. Points to be red flagged needs to be clearly outlined. There is another example coming to the same agreement where we have agreed with the supplier for imported equipment. The exchange rate is there. We have defined a sheet, you will just change the exchange rate, everything else will change automatically. Even you have defined from where you will change refer the exchange rate. Know which date of exchange rate you will take. The day you are placing the order, the day the vendor is importing, or the day he is delivering. Again, there will be a problem. You have to define which day of exchange rate will be applicable. Day of PO, day of import means the custom clearance, or the day of delivery. These are the red flags we have to understand, identify, and address. Evaluation should be done on periodic basis. Maybe every quarter we should see this is the quantity order placed, he has delivered, what are the SLAs he has met, not met. We should even give maybe a percentage up to which we should be accommodative. Maybe 95% is doing fine. If it is below this, there is a problem, right? Not working. Okay. The result of a successful contract management, the expected benefits or financial returns are being realized. Let's say there was some gentleman who has talked about that expected result is X from the contract, but actual realization 9% lesser. That should not happen. We should try to close it ASAP. And moreover, whenever we are having a rate contract with any supplier, the legal agreement should be sent. Maybe you have identified these are the 3 potential suppliers you are going to agree. The legal agreement can be sent even before you agree on the final price, so that the legal terms can also be parallelly discussed. The supplier is cooperative and responsive to organization's needs. It is how innovative or supportive the supplier is, right? The organization encounters the contract dispute or surprises, it will avoid it. We should not have any surprises later on, or there shouldn't be any disputes, because every dispute has a cost. The delivery of goods is satisfactory to both the parties. It is not only you, it is the supplier also. He should also see the value in that agreement or the contract. That's it. Any questions I can answer? Yeah.
For the quick presentation,
gentleman.
Yes.
Thanks for covering the major points on the contracts. My question would be during COVID and the last year, all the disturbance what we are seeing, and it's being continued now. There are contracts in place. There are a lot of SLAs being already mapped, and that there are deviations. Now we know the value of the supplier relationship. We have a legacy tool, like if they are not meeting the performance or SLA, we'll reduce the business, all that. Now, how do we enforce from the legal point of view? Because again, nobody is really interested in going in that legal battles, because we need them, they need us. Yeah. So what is your thought on that?
Okay, there is a clause called force majeure in all of the agreements. We should even be redefining it now. Whether that clause will be applicable if there is another pandemic, or if there is another lockdown, or if there is anything else. That clause was always left to legal till now. I think it is time for you also to enter into that clause and see how it can be redefined. It should clearly tell where it will be applicable, where it will not be applicable. Because you will also try to take advantage of that clause, supplier will also try to take the advantage of the same clause. Everybody will try to hide behind something between the lines. You have to be clear. That's why my first line was watertight. It should be explicitly mentioned how it should be made and how it should be delivered. It should be executed.